Another team that's got to figure out their quarterback situation, Cleveland Browns. Obviously, you got Joe Flacco there. You got Kenny Pickett, and then the two rookies with Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. What do you think? How do you see this playing out for Cleveland throughout the season? What do you think the plan is going through the season, and how do the reps get broken down from a guy who's been in the quarterback room for a long time?
Yeah, I would do everything I can to start either Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel this year. I would only start Joe Flacco or Kenny and probably Joe if, oh my gosh, this is a disaster. And if you're Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barrow, their head coach and general manager, you go, hey, if one of these two kids starts, we're going to get fired. If it's that bad throughout the preseason. So I think Joe is just there certainly for comfort. The reps, I don't think that, and I saw Kevin, and I know you guys talked about this a little bit yesterday, the reps, like in the off season, specifically in that spring period, reps really don't matter who you're doing them with. Because, but you know this, you got, the receiver fluctuation of this guy's only going to take 4 reps, this guy's going to take 6 reps, this offensive lineman may not practice today. So like a lot of times coaches are more trying to put you as the quarterback in situations with certain people rather than certain number one, number two, number three on the board type of thing. So sometimes it's like, hey, I want to see how he performs with the backup offensive line against the starting defensive line, or I want to see how he throws the ball to David Njoku, or I want to see how him and Jerry Jeudy communicate, stuff like that. So that's a huge part of it too, rather than what guy runs out there first, one guy runs out there second. I want to see him go against the starting secondary, and so there's a lot of that goes on with the quarterback kind of moving chairs or musical chairs and the reps distribution. But if I was Cleveland and because of the trade and knowing what 26 looks like for them, at least as we sit here today with the draft, there's not a ton of benefit for me starting Joe Flacco because it doesn't answer anything with the potential of next year's class and them figuring out long term, at least, what's the situation. So I would start one of those two rookies.
How do you feel from Dillon Gabriel's standpoint? Do you like where Dillon Gabriel is?
Yo, I really liked Gabriel. Gabriel was a guy for me. I remember talking to Field Yates about Dillon Gabriel maybe like early November and just sitting there going, sneaky guy that could get into early second round. And I think what for me kind of cooled me with Gabriel was the playoff was such like a poor representation of who he was. I felt like it just did not go well. Obviously, boat raced by Ohio State. And so that calmed me a little bit on Dillon, but he's played a ton of football. He's got a lot of similarities to a player like Tua, not only lefty and whatnot, but the ball distribution, the anticipation, the layering throws over guys. So, Miami, I honestly thought was maybe an interesting place for him in that second or third round. But I don't think Gabriel is a guy that people should overlook. He's a really, really talented thrower. And by all accounts, it seems like Shedeur's had a good start. So I think one of those guys has got to be the person that, as Cleveland, in the next couple of months, you go, okay, you got to show me you can't do it. Like, you got to show me that this would be a disaster for us to start you, or we're going to start you and see if we've, again, like the Saints, we got lucky on some stuff.
Dillon drafted
And
2 rounds.
let me say this last real quickly to end. Sorry. I actually always thought Cleveland was a significantly better place for Shedeur than Pittsburgh when it came to their scheme.
Okay, so on that note, let's go to Pittsburgh. AP Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Dan, I do. Everyone has been very critical of the the Steelers and how they handled the quarterback situation this offseason, probably for good reason. How would you have handled it? And now that we got Big Ben 2.0 and Will Howard, does that put everything to rest?
I don't know if it puts everything to rest. I think Will's got a good chance in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I would have started with this, Tone. I would have said, Justin Fields, what's the number? I would have, if I was going to, obviously, Monday morning quarterback, not get anybody in the draft early. Justin Fields, what's the number? You're going to be our starting quarterback for this year. If it wasn't going to be Justin Fields, I probably would have been more aggressive for Jackson Dart in the draft. That was a guy that I always thought Pittsburgh Giants made the most sense, certainly Cleveland in that conversation as well. We all know that there could be the addition of Aaron, but it's middle of May, and you have no. I mean, guys, I'm 41. I pulled my hamstring playing pickup basketball in the YMCA. So obviously, different athlete, much more talented human being than I am. but his age is what it is, and he's coming off a little bit of a beat up season and injury last year. So, Pittsburgh, the way I look at it right now, Tone, is there's no offense in the league that scares you less than Pittsburgh, and there's no situation that has. I mean, there's just the truth. There's no situation that is more,
DK.
I guess,
Browns.
depressing than Pittsburgh's right now.
Worse in the league, Craig?
Yikes.
Which one is worse? Like, if we're just looking at it on paper, what team are we sitting offensively and sitting there going, that team scares me less than Pittsburgh does?
Colts.
Watch your mouth.
Oh,
The Colts?
We got 2 quarterbacks.
The Browns.
one of the best running backs in the league. All right.
They got Caleb Johnson. He's a dog.
Hey, take a snap.
Yeah,
Those are going to be good.
What about the Saints?
Yeah, Saints, I guess, would be a good answer.
Yeah, Saints. The Saints
Alvin
are
Kamara.
probably in that conversation as well. But those 2 players on the outside the Saints have are really, really good players. Really good players.
Olave.
How about the Browns? What about the Browns?
Kamara scares me.
God, DK sucked.
Yeah, the Browns are probably, but at least the Browns have like the 2 rookie quarterbacks that they drafted that have a little bit of like, and again, I know Will Howard
guy
was
loves
drafted to
Stefanski.
Pittsburgh, and
Third
we'll
and
see
fifth
what happens
rounder.
with that. But we also know like the Browns have an offensive line that 2 years ago was one of the best in the NFL, and Njoku's one of the best tight ends in the NFL.
How was that O-line last
Stefanski,
year?
that offense is fantastic. I'm not saying it's that different, but you're not sitting here going Browns by far, or for sure, no.
Okay, so you say the Pittsburgh Steelers offense is the least scary. Is that in Acrisure or is that an away game?
That's a good point.
Good question.
Panthers.
I don't think the location really matters.
Yeah, okay, this guy had no ball.
Wow.
All right, sweet. Okay. Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the long arm of the law. Right there, you already get a
Yeah.
like you get a little. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter where it's at. What a dum this guy is. All right, let's keep asking this guy
I
questions.
got no idea what just happened.
Once again, you need to stop saying this, especially if you're in the middle of a negotiation for talking about ball, because it sounds like you don't know ball.